Okay, great. Well, listen, we are excited. We are have an opportunity to hear another phenomenal spotlight testimony from one of our community leaders, as well as one of our market experts. This young lady does a phenomenal job of really spearheading part of our educational platform. She's an intricate part in making sure that all of our members get educated on placing their first trade. So we definitely appreciate her for spearheading that aspect of the AMG network. But today we get a chance to really hear a little bit about her background and what really inspires her to be the superstar that she is. So let me do a quick sound check for Miss Angela Harrell. Are you there?
I am here.
Awesome, fantastic. Well, listen, for those who haven't had a chance to meet you, why don't you share your quick Dun and Bradstreet in about 90 seconds or so?
All right, fantastic. So first, I'm a mother of twins they're going to be 23 in June. Can't believe that. But a mom first, definitely a Christian and a teacher. I mean, by heart. Like I used to fight being a teacher when I was younger. But I was one of the students in a class that would tell the teacher to sit down and would, go up to the board and teach the class. So I've been doing it my whole life. And have been teaching in a high school now this is the end of my 29th year. So I'm super excited about that. And my school system allowed me to create a class that, I'm so proud of. It's a financial algebra class. So I teach my seniors everything you wish you would have learned in high school. So we teach them about budgeting and credit and taxes and how to buy a car and get your first apartment, how to get a job, and also that everybody in my classroom leaves my class with a business. So they have a business plan, they know what their business expenses are going to be, and also what their profit would be for the next 2 years if they launched. So I'm proud to say that I know that two of my students from the business they started in my classroom now have multi-million-dollar businesses. And so I love that, to be a part of people's testimony. And so from that class, it has now grown to where it was one section where I was teaching just 20 students to next year, 120 students have signed up for the class. So that's a third of the senior class at our school. So I'm super excited about that. So that's kind of like what my passion is teaching people about finances.
Awesome, that's incredible. I mean, to spend that much time, 29 years, educating the youth. Now you do the exact same thing with the adults of the world. Why don't you talk about what inspired you or what attracted you to the financial education space here in the AMG Network?
Well, really what inspired me is that I learned nothing about finances when I was growing up. Like my mother, she was a single mother because my father passed when we were young, and never did she talk to us about money. I think the only conversation she had with me about credit cards is don't go, spending money and putting it on credit cards. And that was it. It was no other conversation about like spending money, making money, investing, none of that. And so in my lifetime, I've made a lot of mistakes when it comes to money, where it was really where people knew more than me. And then, they took advantage of my lack of knowledge, right? And so from that, I got myself into a lot of debt. They're really just being scammed, being around people who were saying, oh, we're going to get this business and all you have to do is, go take these loans out. And I got scammed and I found myself in a financial hole, like a sinkhole. And then it was like I had a decision, because at that point I was a single mom with my twins. And I'm like, am I going to stay here or am I going to do something about it? And so when I started learning just things on my own, it empowered me. And so that empowerment really, just spearheads everything that I do, because I don't want anybody else to go through what I have gone through. And when the AMG network came around, I had lost the money in the crypto space by not knowing, not having education. And then it was like, oh, we have a platform where it's legit. You keep your money. It's always in your own account. But the education was going to be the key, that, you know, you could actually learn and take time to learn. And so once I decided that, yeah, this is a place that I wanted to be, I then jumped in the deep end, right? So I started learning as much as I could and watching all the videos. And Mr. Jameson always teases me because probably nobody on this line has asked Mr. Jameson more questions than me. So because I'm like constantly like learning and asking questions. So yeah, so that's kind of why I, you know, jumped into our group.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting that you say that about learning because I'm a firm believer that you can learn from everybody. And one of the things that we do as a community, I mean, obviously we have market experts, we have people that have a lot of experience in the trading space and investing space. But one of the things that you did when you came on board as being a product of the product is that you were really the first person to be fanatical about Trend Pro, right? And you was like, yo, this has got to be the product because it's so easy and the results are consistent and people can do it. And what most people don't know, that was really your brainchild of really forcing us to really take a closer look at Trend Pro and make it one of our flagship messages that we share with the community. Now, to that end, I know that you wear many hats. One of the hats is being inspired to educate women about investing. What have you found that has been a lack in terms of information as it relates to women and investing?
Well, women, I mean, just if I talk about like African American women in particular, that I've found the statistics. I'm also a statistics teacher, so I love stats. So I found this stat that said 1 out of every 5 women of color is in poverty at the age of 65. And I was like, 1 out of every 5, like that's a, you know, a high number. And I really believe because women, we take care of everybody else, right? And so whether we're taking care of the kids or maybe we stay home and we don't work, you know, a part of the time, so money is not going into retirement, or we change jobs, or, you know, if a divorce happens now, you know, we know that the people who are women of divorce have less money. And then when we get older, we're taking care of parents. And so we may be spending the money, you know, doing that. And so then by the time it gets to us being of age, we don't have anything for ourselves. And so that is a big issue. Another issue is just, you know, traditionally, women don't deal with money, right? So it's like one of those things, whether it's a math thing. I remember it's like I graduated with a math degree, and it was only 2, you know, female mathematics majors that graduated, you know, my year. And so we shy away from, you know, the money talk or just doing those different things. And so we want to make sure that women take care of, because one, women actually are better investors when they invest. Like they don't, like they really will take the time to learn and invest properly and have greater returns when they do invest. But the key is we got to get more women investing. So that is a part of my heart, to be able to get more women in the room to be able to be in this world.
Yep, that's pretty phenomenal. And you've taken it a step further. I know that you've put some proprietary information together as it relates to budgeting. You've been with our community now for a couple of years, and I know that you found a gap that needed to be filled in terms of how people manage money coming into their household, which inspired you to create a budgeting course for adults, right? And so why don't you talk about that a little bit? What inspired you to do that, and how you're utilizing that to educate different aspects of the community? Because I know you got a couple of events coming up as it's a dire need for that information as well.
Yes. So once a month, I usually do this foundation course. That's what I call it, a foundation course for budgeting. And you can go to my website at Angela Winnett. So that's Angela, WYNNETT.com to, you know, anytime those classes come up, if you register from my website, you'll get a notification. But the biggest thing about budgeting is there's so many myths around budgeting. Like one, people are have this like, oh, it's so constrictive, or it's only for people who are struggling, you know. And that's not true. So, if you make $200 a month, you make $200,000 a month. Everybody should be a CEO over the money they have coming in their household. So even if you have children and you give them an allowance, you should start teaching them the foundation principles of budgeting, right? And so I look at money as far as a percentage, like where is your money going? So every single dime should be accounted for. And so in every month, you should have money going towards a place that is increasing your money. So I always say you have to give your money a job, right? You got to go out and have your money make babies and bring them back to you and multiply. And so this budgeting course that I teach, it's an overall aspect of mindset around your money. It's a shift from just what money am I spending and what money is going out, because that's what people think about budgeting. It's just like, oh, I'm just going to monitor the money that's going out and the money I save. And I think that mindset shift is like, no, I am really giving my money a job. And it should be going into different places that are making my life better. And it's a way for you to design and write the plans of your life down and make it plain so that you can design the life that you want. So if you want a dream vacation, guess what? You can have a dream vacation. So people think budgeting is a fact of I can't have things. And I always say a budget is really designing your life so you can have everything that you want. If you want to go on a shopping spree, let's go on a shopping spree. We just got a budget for that. Right? If we want to go on a fantastic trip, fantastic. Let's budget for that. But everything down to the last dime should be accounted for, any money that's coming into you. So that's why I call it my foundation class, because even before you invest, so some people may get into our community and they may think, okay, I'll put this $200 into this investment. But I was like, okay, now what you going to do the next month and what you're going to do the next month, right? It should be a lifestyle that you create, that you are an investor, not just that I'm just going to, put my toe in this and see how this $200 goes, right? No, that's a gambler, right? We want you to be an investor. And so, we want to change your mindset and your lifestyle to, so that matches. So that budget class is the foundation for your success in the investment space. And so that's why I do that class on a monthly basis.
Awesome, awesome. And I have a saying, a great idea never comes to you fully formed. It has to be developed. And so as you've seen over the last couple of years, our services that we have offered through our partners have continued to expand. We have obviously the Forex stuff that we do. We got the Trend Pro that we do. We got some new crypto stuff that's coming out in about 30 days or less as well. Automated crypto stuff that's coming out. We have a broker dealer that our parent company just acquired, where we'll have our own quote unquote Robinhood type experience within our community. So there's a lot of evolution that's taking place as it relates to financial education. So in closing, if you could think about what the next 12 to 18 months look like for you and how you see yourself growing as a seasoned business professional in the financial education space, what would that look like?
Well, I definitely, I always say I want to be booked and busy. So that's my motto for the next 6 months. That I really want to get out there, and talk to as many people as possible about this financial literacy piece. And so definitely having money coming in is really interesting, because for a long time, and Mr. Jameson knows this, my laser focused goal was to put my daughter through college without any student loans. It was laser focused. Like anytime I would talk, that would be what I would talk about, right? And then when I accomplished that and she graduated, absolutely no debt at all, then I was like, okay, now what? Right? Like, now what am I gonna work on now? Right? And so I'm in the process of really thinking about what that is. I mean, doing, some repairs in my house and things like that. That's definitely something. And I want to get also into the real estate investment space, but really now it's a crusade for me to help as many people as possible, like to bring people up and, have them not make the mistakes that I made, because I would be so much further ahead, maybe, if I didn't make the mistakes, right? Because it was a lesson learned, which then really pushed me into all of this education space and making this the purpose of my life, right? So maybe if I didn't make the mistakes, I wouldn't even, have been in this place now. But now my goal is to help as many people as possible, like to get on as many dockets and have as many people hear about our community as possible, to get people understanding, finances and credit and debt and taxes and all things, money, so that they can then stand on the shoulders of the knowledge I've learned and then go and, fly even higher. So that's kind of what my purpose is right now.
Awesome. I love it. Everybody drop some fire in the chat for Miss Angela Harrell, phenomenal testimony. Looking forward to some great things coming up in the near future around the world with her.